Question 1. During a sprint, a development team realizes they will not be able to complete all selected product backlog items by the end of the sprint. What is the most appropriate action for the development team to take? A. Inform the product owner immediately to discuss options and potential scope adjustments. B. Extend the sprint duration to ensure all committed items are completed. C. Work overtime and skip the daily scrum to focus on completing the work. D. Remove the uncompleted items from the sprint backlog and wait until the sprint review to discuss. Answer: A. Inform the product owner immediately to discuss options and potential scope adjustments. When a development team identifies that they cannot complete the sprint backlog, their primary responsibility is to be transparent and communicate this immediately to the product owner. The product owner, as the sole authority on the product backlog and its ordering, can then collaborate with the development team to discuss potential adjustments to the sprint scope, ensuring the most valuable work is still delivered. Extending the sprint, working excessive overtime, or unilaterally dropping items without discussion undermines Scrum's transparency and adaptability. Always remember that open and timely communication within the Scrum team is crucial for addressing challenges and making informed decisions. Question 2. A Scrum Master notices that the development team often struggles with technical debt, causing delays in delivering new features. What is the best way for the Scrum Master to address this situation? A. Mandate that the development team allocate a fixed percentage of each sprint to refactoring and technical debt reduction. B. Coach the development team on the importance of addressing technical debt and facilitate discussions with the product owner about incorporating it into the product backlog. C. Report the issue to management, requesting additional resources or specialized technical debt teams. D. Take over some of the development team's work to free up their time for technical debt remediation. Answer: B. Coach the development team on the importance of addressing technical debt and facilitate discussions with the product owner about incorporating it into the product backlog. The Scrum Master serves the development team by coaching them on self-management and cross-functionality, which includes the responsibility of producing a high-quality increment. Technical debt, while often unseen, directly impacts a team's ability to deliver value and sustain velocity, so the Scrum Master should guide the team to recognize its impact and encourage proactive solutions. By facilitating a conversation with the product owner, the team can strategically propose technical debt items to be prioritized and included in the product backlog alongside new features, ensuring a balanced approach to product development. This approach fosters ownership within the team and ensures product owner transparency regarding work that enhances future value delivery. Question 3. During the sprint review, stakeholders express dissatisfaction with a key feature that has been developed, stating it doesn't meet their current needs, despite being based on previously approved requirements. What should be the Scrum team's primary focus? A. Documenting the feedback and ensuring it is added to the product backlog for future sprints, allowing the team to continue with the next sprint's planned work. B. Defending the implemented feature by explaining how it aligns with the initial requirements provided at the sprint planning. C. Collaborating with stakeholders to understand the underlying evolving needs and adapt the product backlog accordingly for future sprints. D. Immediately halting the current sprint and initiating an emergency sprint to address the new stakeholder feedback. Answer: C. Collaborating with stakeholders to understand the underlying evolving needs and adapt the product backlog accordingly for future sprints. The sprint review is a key event for inspection and adaptation, specifically for the product backlog and the product itself. When stakeholders express dissatisfaction, it indicates a learning opportunity about evolving needs, which is inherent in complex product development. The Scrum team, particularly the product owner and development team, should actively engage with stakeholders to understand these new insights, rather than just documenting feedback or defending past decisions. This collaboration ensures the product backlog reflects the most current understanding of value, allowing the Scrum team to adapt their future work and build the right product. Question 4. A new development team member frequently goes directly to stakeholders for requirements clarification, bypassing the product owner. The product owner expresses frustration because this leads to confusion and conflicting priorities. What is the Scrum Master's most appropriate response? A. Coach the new team member on the product owner's role as the single source of truth for product backlog content and ordering. B. Facilitate a meeting between the product owner and the new development team member to resolve the conflict directly. C. Tell the new team member to stop interacting with stakeholders and only speak to the product owner. D. Update the team's working agreement to explicitly state that all requirements discussions must go through the product owner. Answer: A. Coach the new team member on the product owner's role as the single source of truth for product backlog content and ordering. The Scrum Master's role involves coaching individuals on Scrum principles and roles, ensuring the team understands the framework's intent. In this scenario, the new development team member is unknowingly undermining the product owner's accountability for maximizing product value by managing the product backlog. Coaching the team member directly helps them understand why the product owner is the single point of contact for product backlog items, enabling clearer communication and ensuring a consistent vision for the product. This proactive coaching addresses the root cause of the behavior rather than just managing the symptom or dictating rules. Question 5. During the daily Scrum, a development team member reports being blocked by an external dependency that an operations team needs to resolve. The Scrum Master notes this and decides to contact the operations team after the daily Scrum. Is this an appropriate action for the Scrum Master? A. Yes, because the Scrum Master is responsible for removing impediments that hinder the development team. B. No, because the development team should be self-managing and resolve impediments on their own. C. Yes, but only if the development team explicitly asks the Scrum Master for help with the impediment. D. No, the Scrum Master should encourage the product owner to address external dependencies. Answer: A. Yes, because the Scrum Master is responsible for removing impediments that hinder the development team. One of the core services a Scrum Master provides to the development team is helping to remove impediments that prevent the team from meeting their sprint goal. While the development team is self-managing and should strive to resolve their own issues, some impediments, especially those external to the team's direct control, may require the Scrum Master's influence and networking capabilities. Identifying an external dependency blocking progress, as reported in the daily Scrum, is a clear signal for the Scrum Master to step in and facilitate its removal, ensuring the team can maintain focus on the sprint goal. A good rule of thumb is that if an impediment is beyond the development team's immediate control, the Scrum Master should intervene. Question 6. The product owner consistently adds new, unplanned items to the sprint backlog mid-sprint, causing the development team to miss sprint goals. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Explain to the product owner that once a sprint starts, its scope is fixed to protect the development team's ability to focus. B. Facilitate a discussion with the entire Scrum team, including the product owner, to understand the impact and reinforce the sprint goal. C. Escalate the issue to management, explaining that the product owner is violating Scrum rules. D. Advise the development team to refuse any new work from the product owner once the sprint has begun. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion with the entire Scrum team, including the product owner, to understand the impact and reinforce the sprint goal. The Scrum Master is a servant leader who coaches the entire Scrum team on adhering to Scrum practices and principles. When a product owner frequently adds new items mid-sprint, it directly threatens the sprint goal and the team's focus. Instead of making an autocratic rule or escalating, the most effective approach is to facilitate a conversation among the entire Scrum team. This allows the team to collectively inspect the negative impact of such changes on their ability to deliver working software and reinforces the importance of the sprint goal as a stable objective for the sprint. This collaborative approach fosters transparency and helps the team self-organize around a shared understanding. Question 7. Which of the following best describes the accountability of the Scrum Master regarding the Scrum events? A. The Scrum Master is responsible for ensuring each event occurs at its prescribed time and duration and that attendees stick to the agenda. B. The Scrum Master facilitates all Scrum events, acting as the primary moderator and decision-maker. C. The Scrum Master ensures that each event serves its purpose and that participants understand and adhere to its timebox and objectives. D. The Scrum Master reports the outcomes of each Scrum event to relevant stakeholders to ensure transparency. Answer: C. The Scrum Master ensures that each event serves its purpose and that participants understand and adhere to its timebox and objectives. The Scrum Master's accountability regarding Scrum events goes beyond mere scheduling or facilitation. It's about upholding the integrity and effectiveness of the framework. Their role is to ensure that the purpose of each event is understood and achieved, helping the team and stakeholders maximize value from these opportunities for inspection and adaptation. This includes coaching participants on the importance of the time box and the specific objectives of each event, rather than just enforcing rules. For example, during the daily Scrum, the Scrum Master ensures the development team uses the event to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as needed, without dictating the content. Question 8. A development team struggles to estimate product backlog items consistently, leading to inaccurate sprint forecasts and missed sprint goals. What is the most effective approach for the Scrum Master to take? A. Suggest that the product owner provide more detailed requirements before sprint planning to eliminate estimation errors. B. Coach the development team on various estimation techniques and the concept of relative sizing, emphasizing continuous improvement in forecasting. C. Implement a fixed velocity for the team to simplify planning and reduce the need for constant re-estimation. D. Take over the estimation process to ensure accuracy, as the Scrum Master is responsible for team productivity. Answer: B. Coach the development team on various estimation techniques and the concept of relative sizing, emphasizing continuous improvement in forecasting. The Scrum Master acts as a coach to the development team, guiding them in their self-organizing practices, which includes improving their ability to estimate and forecast. Inaccurate estimations indicate a need for the team to refine their techniques and understanding of complexity. Coaching on methods like planning poker or using relative sizing, e.g., story points, helps the team better understand the work and fosters collective ownership of estimates. This continuous improvement approach empowers the team to adapt and become more accurate over time, rather than relying on external input or a fixed, potentially unrealistic, velocity. Question 9. What is the primary purpose of the sprint goal? A. To provide a detailed list of all product backlog items the development team must complete in the sprint. B. To define a single, overarching objective for the sprint, providing flexibility regarding the specific work items required to achieve it. C. To serve as a contractual agreement between the product owner and the development team for the sprint. D. To clearly state the business value that will be delivered to stakeholders by the end of the sprint. Answer: B. To define a single, overarching objective for the sprint, providing flexibility regarding the specific work items required to achieve it. The sprint goal is a critical artifact that provides focus and coherence for the entire sprint. It represents a single, unifying objective that the development team strives to achieve, allowing flexibility in how they accomplish it. While it implies delivering business value, its primary purpose isn't just a list of items or a contractual agreement, but a guiding North Star that allows the team to make trade-offs and adapt their work if challenges arise, without losing sight of the overall objective. For instance, if one path to the goal becomes blocked, the team can find an alternative path to still meet the sprint goal. Question 10. The development team consistently finishes all product backlog items early in the sprint. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master to suggest? A. Encourage the product owner to add more items to the current sprint backlog to fill the remaining time. B. Guide the development team to pull the next highest priority items from the product backlog, after discussing with the product owner. C. Advise the development team to use the remaining time for individual learning or research, without formalizing it. D. Suggest reducing the sprint length in the next sprint to better match the team's capacity. Answer: B. Guide the development team to pull the next highest priority items from the product backlog, after discussing with the product owner. When a development team finishes committed work early, it's an opportunity for them to demonstrate true self-management and maximize value delivery. The most productive use of this time is to start working on the next most valuable product backlog items, pulled from the top of the product backlog, after transparently discussing with the product owner. This ensures that the team continues to focus on delivering product increments that align with overall product goals. Reducing sprint length might be considered in future planning, but the immediate action should be to capitalize on the current sprint's capacity, enhancing the concept of continuous flow and value maximization. Question 11. What is the Scrum Master's role during the sprint retrospective? A. To facilitate the event, ensuring it is positive, productive, and held within its time box, while encouraging the team to improve. B. To gather metrics on team performance and present them to the team to identify areas for improvement. C. To dictate the action items for the upcoming sprint based on identified issues and opportunities. D. To act as the primary note-taker and distribute meeting minutes to stakeholders. Answer: A. To facilitate the event, ensuring it is positive, productive, and held within its time box, while encouraging the team to improve. The Scrum Master serves the Scrum team by facilitating the sprint retrospective, ensuring the event is productive and fosters continuous improvement. Their role is to create a safe environment where the team can openly discuss what went well, what could be improved, and how to adapt their processes for the next sprint. This involves guiding the conversation, keeping it within the time box, and encouraging the team to identify actionable improvements. The Scrum Master does not dictate actions but rather empowers the self-managing team to identify and commit to their own improvements, embodying the spirit of inspect and adapt. Question 12. A new Scrum team is struggling to understand the definition of done, leading to inconsistent quality and rework in later sprints. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. The Scrum Master should create a comprehensive definition of done for the team and mandate its use. B. Coach the development team on the importance of a shared understanding of done and facilitate a session for them to create or refine their own definition of done. C. Advise the product owner to reject increments that do not meet an implicit quality standard, forcing the team to improve. D. Recommend that the organization's quality assurance department define and enforce a standard definition of done for all teams. Answer: B. Coach the development team on the importance of a shared understanding of done and facilitate a session for them to create or refine their own definition of done. The definition of done is a crucial commitment for the increment, creating transparency and a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete and releasable. While the Scrum Master doesn't dictate the definition, they are responsible for ensuring the development team understands its importance and facilitates its creation or refinement. By guiding the team through a collaborative process, the Scrum Master empowers them to take ownership of their quality standards and ensures a common understanding across the team, leading to more consistent and releasable increments. This coaching approach strengthens the team's self-management and accountability. Question 13. Which statement accurately describes the accountability of the product owner in Scrum? A. The product owner is accountable for managing the development team's performance and ensuring they meet their commitments. B. The product owner is solely accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. C. The product owner is accountable for representing all stakeholders and gathering all their requirements before sprint planning. D. The product owner is accountable for defining the technical architecture and design of the product. Answer: B. The product owner is solely accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. The product owner is the sole person accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. This core accountability drives all their activities, including product backlog management, stakeholder collaboration, and ensuring transparency of value. While they work closely with the development team and stakeholders, their unique focus is on optimizing the value delivered by the product, which involves strategic decision-making about what to build and in what order. Understanding this singular accountability is key to recognizing the product owner's critical role in Scrum. Question 14. A Scrum Master observes that the daily Scrums are often dominated by one or two team members, while others remain silent. What is the best action for the Scrum Master to take? A. Direct specific questions to the quieter team members to encourage their participation. B. Remind the team that the daily Scrum is for the development team's use and coach them on self-management of the event. C. Suggest that the team use a round-robin format to ensure everyone speaks for an equal amount of time. D. Shorten the daily Scrum time box to prevent anyone from dominating the conversation. Answer. B. Remind the team that the daily Scrum is for the development team's use and coach them on self-management of the event. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute event primarily for the development team to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog. A Scrum Master's role is to ensure the team understands the purpose and self-manages this event, rather than dictating how they should conduct it. If some members are dominating, the Scrum Master should coach the entire team on the importance of collective ownership and effective communication during the daily Scrum, reminding them that it's their meeting to coordinate their work, not a status report for the Scrum Master or product owner. This guidance fosters self-organization and accountability. Question 15. The product backlog has grown very large, containing hundreds of items, and stakeholders complain that they cannot see the big picture or understand the overall product direction. What advice should the Scrum Master provide to the product owner? A. Suggest breaking down the large product backlog into multiple, smaller backlogs managed by different product owners. B. Advise the product owner to focus on product goal creation and refinement, using it to bring clarity and focus to the product backlog. C. Recommend reducing the number of stakeholders involved in product backlog refinement to streamline the process. D. Encourage the product owner to ignore items beyond the next 2 or 3 sprints, as those will likely change anyway. Answer. B. Advise the product owner to focus on product goal creation and refinement, using it to bring clarity and focus to the product backlog. A large, unmanageable product backlog often indicates a lack of clear strategic direction, which is precisely what the product goal addresses. The product goal is the future state of the product, which can serve as a target for the Scrum team to plan against, acting as a commitment for the product backlog. The Scrum Master should coach the product owner on defining and communicating a compelling product goal, as this provides a higher-level objective that helps to prioritize, organize, and prune the product backlog, making it more digestible and transparent for both the Scrum team and stakeholders. This clarifies the why behind the items in the backlog. Question 16. A development team member is consistently late for the daily Scrum, disrupting the team's flow and conversation. What is the most appropriate initial action for the Scrum Master? A. Address the team member privately to understand the reason for their tardiness and coach them on the importance of punctuality for team synchronization. B. Publicly call out the team member during the daily Scrum to emphasize the importance of attendance to the whole team. C. Change the time of the daily Scrum to accommodate the individual schedule, ensuring everyone can attend. D. Inform the product owner and ask them to speak with the late development team member about their behavior. Answer. A. Address the team member privately to understand the reason for their tardiness and coach them on the importance of punctuality for team synchronization. The Scrum Master acts as a coach and servant leader to the development team. When an individual's behavior impacts the team, the most professional and effective initial approach is to address the issue privately and respectfully. Understanding the underlying reason for the tardiness allows the Scrum Master to offer targeted coaching on the importance of the daily Scrum for team coordination and the impact of their absence on the team's self-organization. This empathetic yet firm approach respects the individual while upholding the integrity of Scrum events, fostering trust and accountability within the team. Question 17. The development team frequently identifies new work items during a sprint that were not part of the initial sprint backlog. They then work on these items, sometimes at the expense of previously committed work. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Remind the development team that the sprint backlog is fixed once the sprint starts, and no new items can be added. B. Coach the development team to collaborate with the product owner when new work arises, to discuss its impact on the sprint goal and the product backlog. C. Advise the development team to only work on items they committed to at sprint planning and defer any new work until the next sprint. D. Facilitate a discussion on why the product backlog refinement is insufficient and needs to be more detailed. Answer. B. Coach the development team to collaborate with the product owner when new work arises, to discuss its impact on the sprint goal and the product backlog. While the sprint backlog is the development team's plan for the sprint, new insights or urgent needs can emerge. The Scrum Master should coach the team on how to manage these situations while protecting the sprint goal. It's not about forbidding new work, but rather ensuring transparency and collaborative decision-making. The development team should consult with the product owner when new work arises to assess its priority and impact on the sprint goal, potentially swapping out items if absolutely necessary and valuable to achieve the sprint goal. This empowers the team to be adaptive within the sprint's boundaries, rather than rigidly adhering to an initial plan or creating hidden work. Question 18. During sprint planning, the development team feels pressured by the product owner to commit to an excessive amount of work, making them believe the sprint goal is unrealistic. What is the Scrum Master's primary responsibility here? A. Facilitate a negotiation between the product owner and the development team to agree on a realistic sprint goal and scope. B. Remind the product owner that only the development team can forecast the amount of work they can accomplish. C. Coach the development team to push back on the product owner and refuse to commit to unrealistic work. D. Advise the development team to commit to the work and attempt to complete it, using the experience for future sprint planning adjustments. Answer. A. Facilitate a negotiation between the product owner and the development team to agree on a realistic sprint goal and scope. Sprint planning is a collaborative event where the entire Scrum team defines the sprint goal and selects product backlog items to achieve it. When there's a disconnect, the Scrum Master's primary role is to facilitate constructive dialogue and negotiation. They ensure all voices are heard and guide the team towards a realistic sprint goal and a feasible selection of work, balancing the product owner's desire for value with the development team's capacity. This facilitation fosters shared understanding and commitment, aligning everyone towards an achievable sprint. Question 19. A Scrum Master notices that the development team is consistently struggling with external stakeholders directly providing them with urgent, unplanned requests that bypass the product owner. What should the Scrum Master do first? A. Inform the stakeholders that all requests must go through the product owner as the single point of contact. B. Coach the product owner on stakeholder management techniques and how to effectively communicate the product backlog as the authoritative source of work. C. Facilitate a meeting with the development team, product owner, and key stakeholders to establish clear communication channels. D. Advise the development team to redirect all external requests to the product owner and refuse to work on anything not in the sprint backlog. Answer. B. Coach the product owner on stakeholder management techniques and how to effectively communicate the product backlog as the authoritative source of work. While addressing stakeholders directly might seem intuitive, the root cause of this issue often lies in the product owner's effectiveness in managing the product backlog as the authoritative source of work and communicating the product vision. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the product owner to better manage stakeholder expectations and channel requests appropriately through the product backlog. By empowering the product owner, they become more effective at protecting the development team from external distractions and ensuring valuable work is prioritized transparently. This approach addresses the underlying process rather than just policing symptoms. Question 20. The development team completes an increment at the end of the sprint, but the product owner decides not to release it to users immediately because it lacks a few minor features deemed critical for market acceptance. What should be the Scrum team's next step? A. The development team should continue working on the unreleased increment in the next sprint until it is deemed ready for release. B. The Scrum team should use the sprint retrospective to discuss why the increment was not potentially releasable and how to improve. C. The product owner should add the missing features as high priority items to the product backlog for the next sprint, and the team works on them then. D. The product owner should release the increment as is, to gain early feedback, even if it's not perfect. Answer: C. The product owner should add the missing features as high priority items to the product backlog for the next sprint, and the team works on them then. The potentially releasable increment is a core concept in Scrum, meaning it meets the definition of done and is usable by users. While the product owner has the sole discretion to release the increment, if they choose not to due to missing features, those features should be transparently added to the product backlog for future prioritization. This ensures that valuable work is tracked and addressed in subsequent sprints, allowing the team to continue building upon the existing product and eventually release a more complete version. The focus remains on continuously delivering potentially releasable increments, even if the release decision is deferred. Question 21. What is the optimal time for product backlog refinement activities within a sprint? A. During the first few days of the sprint, immediately after sprint planning. B. Continuously throughout the sprint, as needed, without a dedicated event. C. Only during the second half of the sprint, after most development work is complete. D. It should be a dedicated event held once a sprint, separate from other Scrum events. Answer: B. Continuously throughout the sprint, as needed, without a dedicated event. Product backlog refinement is an ongoing activity, not a formal Scrum event, where the Scrum team adds detail, estimates, and order to product backlog items. It occurs continuously and iteratively as new information emerges, ensuring the backlog remains clear and well-ordered for upcoming sprints. While there is a common guideline that it typically consumes no more than 10% of the development team's capacity, it happens whenever necessary, not at a fixed time or as a single event. This continuous process helps the team prepare for future sprints and adapt to new insights. Question 22. The Scrum Master introduces a new tool to track impediments, but the development team shows resistance to using it, preferring their current informal method. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Insist on the use of the new tool, explaining its benefits for transparency and reporting to management. B. Facilitate a discussion with the development team about their concerns and the perceived benefits of the new tool versus their current method. C. Abandon the idea of the new tool and revert to the team's preferred informal method to maintain team morale. D. Escalate the team's resistance to management, seeking their support in mandating the new tool's adoption. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion with the development team about their concerns and the perceived benefits of the new tool versus their current method. The Scrum Master's role is to serve the team and help them improve, not to enforce tools or processes. When a team resists a new tool, the most effective approach is to understand their perspective. By facilitating an open discussion, the Scrum Master can uncover the reasons for resistance, address concerns, and help the team objectively compare the new tool's potential benefits against their current method. This collaborative approach fosters transparency, builds trust, and allows the team to make an informed decision, promoting self-organization rather than imposed solutions. Question 23. A development team frequently carries over unfinished work from one sprint to the next. What is the most likely cause, and what should the Scrum Master address? A. The product owner is not effectively ordering the product backlog. The Scrum Master should coach the product owner on prioritization. B. The development team is overcommitting during sprint planning. The Scrum Master should facilitate better forecasting and scope negotiation. C. The Scrum Master is not removing impediments quickly enough. The Scrum Master should focus on accelerating impediment resolution. D. The sprint length is too short for the complexity of the work. The Scrum Master should propose extending the sprint duration. Answer: B. The development team is overcommitting during sprint planning. the Scrum Master should facilitate better forecasting and scope negotiation. When a development team consistently carries over unfinished work, it often points to an issue with sprint planning, specifically with the team taking on too much work for the sprint. The Scrum Master's role here is to coach the development team on realistic forecasting, helping them understand their capacity and guiding them to engage in effective negotiations with the product owner during sprint planning. This ensures that the sprint goal and the selected product backlog items are achievable within the sprint's timebox, fostering predictable delivery and building team confidence. Question 24. What is the primary purpose of the sprint review? A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog, allowing stakeholders to provide feedback and collaborate on future product direction. B. To formally sign off on the completed work and ensure all planned features have been delivered according to the initial sprint backlog. C. To celebrate the development team's accomplishments and present the completed work to management for approval. D. To conduct a comprehensive quality assurance check of the increment before it is potentially released to end users. Answer: A. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog, allowing stakeholders to provide feedback and collaborate on future product direction. The sprint review is a key inspection and adaptation event that centers around the increment and the product backlog. Its primary purpose is to allow the Scrum team and stakeholders to collaboratively inspect the potentially releasable increment and review what was accomplished during the sprint. More importantly, it's a forum for open discussion and feedback from stakeholders, which is then used to adapt the product backlog, ensuring future development efforts are aligned with evolving needs and market conditions. It's a forward-looking event focused on maximizing future value. Question 25. A Scrum team has been consistently meeting its sprint goals, but stakeholders express concern that the product is not evolving quickly enough or addressing the most critical market needs. What might the Scrum Master investigate? A. Whether the development team is truly cross-functional and possesses all the skills needed to deliver complex features. B. The effectiveness of the product owner in defining and communicating the product goal and managing the product backlog to maximize value. C. If the sprint length is too short, preventing the development team from completing larger, more impactful features. D. The quality of the definition of done, to ensure that delivered increments are truly releasable. Answer: B. The effectiveness of the product owner in defining and communicating the product goal and managing the product backlog to maximize value. While meeting sprint goals indicates good sprint-level execution, stakeholders' concerns about product evolution and critical market needs point directly to the product owner's accountability for maximizing product value. The Scrum Master should investigate how effectively the product owner is defining and communicating the product goal and managing the product backlog, ensuring it reflects the highest value work and aligns with strategic market needs. This often involves coaching the product owner on techniques for product backlog ordering, stakeholder engagement, and clear articulation of the product vision, ensuring the team is working on the right things, not just efficiently delivering things.